So the reason why I'm making this video is because this used to be me. I didn't know that I did this until someone else pointed it out. So now, if you are like a past version of me, I want to be the person who points it out to you. So I don't want this video to come across as anything other than perhaps opening up your eyes to being aware of the fact that you might do this. That's probably the best way to put it. It's not a bad thing to talk about yourself. People are interested in you, but usually they may not be interested if they don't necessarily ask. So something that's really important to remember is that people in general, human beings, really only care more about themselves than they do about other people. It's not saying that they don't care about other people, because we do. But if you ever find yourself in a conversation with someone where they don't ever ask you any questions about yourself or your own life, oftentimes that's a sign that they don't actually care or they're not interested. Some of my old friends, if they watch these videos, I don't know if they do or not, might remember this. When I was in primary school, I really didn't talk very much and I was very, very shy, and I kind of kept to myself a lot. Like, I don't even know how other people saw me in primary school or most of high school. I feel like I just kind of blended into the shadows and tried not to stand out very much. But when I did make a good group of friends that I felt like I could be myself with and kind of open up to and start talking a little bit more, I didn't know that I was doing this, but one of my friends pointed out the fact that every time I talked, I was only ever talking about myself or telling stories about myself in my own life, and I never used to ask anyone any questions about them. But I think that's because I kept to myself so much when I was younger that I didn't really talk about myself very much at all, and then all of a sudden I felt like I had permission to do so. But once again, I wasn't aware of it until someone pointed it out. And so then once I was aware of it, I was able to notice a little bit more often when I was doing it, or catch myself out if I started talking over the top of somebody, which I sometimes used to do as well. I sometimes still do that. Like, it's a habit that I'm consciously working on, but sometimes I get really excited about something that someone's talking about and I just like blurt out and do it. So I'm still working on that. But now I will realize and apologize and say, sorry, continue. And then it continued to happen through my 20s as well, usually more often when I was under the influence of drinking. I used to go out clubbing, and like anyone that would come up and start talking to me, I would just like word vomit my whole life story onto them and like never even ask them anything about themselves. I was so unaware of it that I didn't realize that people were getting really, really annoyed at me and that I was the annoying person at the party, until someone did actually come up and tell me, and it was like, ouch man, that really hurts. I don't want to be the annoying person, but it wasn't until someone pointed it out to me that I was doing it that I realized that it was an issue. And then when I started my kind of in-depth self-awareness journey, I suppose, in my mid-20s, it was something that I chose to really consciously work on. And so now usually when I'm around people, I have practiced it so much that I have gone back to kind of being the listener, and I will ask questions about other people, and I know that I shouldn't necessarily say anything or share anything unless they are actually interested, or unless I know that it's going to, benefit them in some way, because just sitting there talking about myself for half an hour or waiting for someone to ask me more questions about myself is like a pretty pointless conversation. The reason why people do it, once again, is because, naturally we are self-focused, some people more so than others. It's not a bad thing. It's like a personality type thing. If you've ever done the DISC profile, like, some people are just more self-focused than others. It's just human life. But I just want you to be conscious of it. If you ever notice that you are in a conversation where all you're doing is talking about yourself and you have not once stopped and asked anything about the other person, and when someone else is talking to you, the first thing that you do is tell a story about yourself back at them rather than asking them more questions or being interested in what they're actually talking about. Like, a conversation should be back and forth with each person kind of asking questions to the other, yeah, just be aware of it. Because people do want to feel important, and if you can make other people feel important and get your sense of self-importance from that, it's just a much nicer way to live, and you know that you're making a difference in other people's lives in some way by making them feel heard. So let me know if this resonated with you in any way, shape or form. Feel free to share it if there's anyone else in your life who you feel may need to see this, or tag anybody. And I guess just start to be a little bit more self-aware of your habits and behaviours, and whether they are positively impacting yourself and the lives of those around you, or whether they might be negative. That's all I want from this video. So remember to be real, have fun, make money, and have a nice day.